Hello, welcome to Inspired Caring. I'm your host, Michelle Magner. If you are caring for an older family member, this is the podcast for you. Each week, I bring insight, tips, inspiration, and strategies to help you care for the people that you love without losing yourself along the way. Having cared for both of my grandmothers, I've helped manage everything from hospital stays, households full of belongings, to navigating senior living and end-of-life care. And I've worked in senior living as a result of that experience, serving my residents and their families as they've been on this journey too. Thank you for joining me today, and I hope you enjoy this episode of Inspired Caring. Hello. I have to tell you all that the last week has knocked me a bit back on my heels. My cousin was diagnosed with cancer about 8 weeks ago and unexpectedly passed away. He was 60, fit, in very good health, except for the cancer that was secretly ravaging his body. His mom, my aunt, passed away about 3 months ago, and my father-in-law passed away about 3 months before that. So it has been a slow, percolating season of loss for our family. I remember one day with my father-in-law when we were leaving the stadium after our daughter's band performance, and he was like staggering out to the car. He was so unsteady on his feet, but still not using a walker. His cancer had already spread to his brain at that time, and he was living in assisted living and receiving hospice services. He was also really sharp, articulate, and still able to get out and do stuff. So I stopped walking and we made eye contact, and I asked him if he would consider doing some physical therapy to help him with his balance. And his response immediately annoyed me. And then it made me sad, but he raised a good question. What's the point? What's the point? My son, who is now going into high school, asked me the same question one day, actually, as we were getting ready for school. He was like in second or third grade, and he was sitting at the counter eating his waffle, and he paused and looked at me and asked, "What's the point of doing all this stuff? School, life." Pretty introspective for such a young kid. But this last week, as I've reflected on my cousin dying and the fact that he was so healthy and it just happened so fast, it has put me in a tailspin of wondering, what is the point? What am I doing? Why am I doing it? What is the point of all this? The work that I'm doing, how am I engaging with time? Why not just eat it all, spend it all, live with reckless abandon and indulgence? Why work so hard? Why not just sit around lounging? Why bother? In the grand scheme of things, we have a relatively short ride on this spinning ball and then poof, gone. I'm not trying to take us all to the dark side. I promise this is going to get lighter. But I ask these questions of myself with curiosity and intentions of clarity and focus and love. Last fall, when I asked my father-in-law, Roger, that question, I felt like I knew what the point was. It felt very clear to me. In my mind, the point was to have some strength training in the hopes of preventing a fall. I really did not want him to fall. He was not able actually to do traditional exercises anymore because of a heart issue. But I felt like if he could work with a physical therapist, it would make him stronger. We'd also have that third party involved recommending that he use the walker, which he was reluctant to use, all in the hopes of avoiding a fall, which we know those can get pretty nasty. And I also thought, well, he'd have some one-on-one attention. which I felt like could be good for him. So at the time, I did what came natural next, and I called my mom and I asked my mom, what's the point? What do you think the point is? She's a retired attorney and she exercises daily and cooks healthy, whole food meals every day. She's definitely a role model of healthy aging. She's also experienced a lot of loss with friends. So when I asked her the question, what's the point? She quickly responded, and this is as I remember it. The point is to use what is available to you to feel the best you can each day. We can't predict the future, but we can make choices each day that we can feel good about for that day. I typed into a search engine, what's the point? And the top of list that came up, like the top few things were, what's the point of life? What's the point of living? What's the point of being rich? The next one was, what's the point of a sauna? And the next one was, what's the point of a middle name? So you can see that this question, it doesn't have to be all that heavy and deep, okay? I thought those were pretty funny. And at the end of the day, eating healthy food helps us feel better. Moving our body helps us feel better. Reaching out to the people that we care about, engaging with activities, doing meaningful work, finding meaning in our work, participating in the communities that we live in, attending to the causes we care about, helping those in need, learning and growing, making a meal for a friend, pulling a weed from the lawn to make it more beautiful. All of these things actually makes us feel better because of the thoughts we're having about doing them. Tuning out, just dialing it in, making it through our day, buffering our lives with booze or food or anything else, ignoring it, avoiding it. You may feel better in the moment, but actually, at the end of the day, and especially with the compound effect of this day after day, it actually feels pretty terrible. Tony Robbins breaks it down that humans have 6 core needs. You should look these up. Certainty, but we also like variety and a little uncertainty. The third thing is significance. Fourth is connection and love. Then growth and contribution. And it does not matter what your age is, these things still apply. So let me tell you, my friend, your life matters. What you do matters. How you show up and what you show up for matters. You are enough. You are valuable and you are important. You are having an impact on someone right now. Every person's path you cross today is an opportunity. My cousin, Dr. Robert Tobin, was a professor at Clark University. And my gosh, the lives he touched and the legacy he leaves behind for his family, his husband of 30 years, his colleagues, friends, community is tremendous. And it has made me curious about what my legacy will be and what I want it to be. So the question is, what's the point? And what I know I can do is for today, I can make an effort and I can make a difference. Some days it will feel smaller than others, but the bottom line is I have to keep showing up. And I want to keep showing up because at the end of each day, I can make choices with what I have available to me to feel the best that I can and think those thoughts that are fueling that, feeling the best that I can. And so can you. You've got this. You've got this. And I see you. Keep up the great work. Keep showing up for your life. It's making a difference and it matters. And I love you. I'll see you next week.